Something beyond just helping one another that unites St. Louis, and that is sports. A few days ago, Albert Pujols hit his 700th home run, making him the fourth player ever to hit that mark. While that made national news, there are other monumental sports moments that you could be forgetting about too. But a new book called St. Louis Sports Memories is changing the narrative by highlighting the lesser known stories. Joining us this morning with the local author is our very own Malik Wilson, who is in sports heaven.
Yes, in sports heaven indeed. This is Mr. Ed Wheatley. If you guys remember, maybe a month ago or a few weeks ago, we had him on the show talking about some of his other amazing books, but we have yet again another great book on the shelves, and it's highlighting some of the lesser known sports memories here in St. Louis, which dive deep into some great history. So, Ed, thank you so much for joining us. And first, whose bat is this?
Jackie Robinson's.
Jackie Robinson's bat. If you guys don't know, Jackie is one of the first black baseball players.
The first Major League African American, 1947.
Which is amazing. And so, we won't take too much time on this, but explain this book a little bit and why it's so special.
Well, it's a special book because it's, why St. Louis is the greatest sports town in America. We're not a one-team, two-team town. We have this such diverse history of all sports and all these firsts that take place in St. Louis. We were the bowling capital of the world. We were the soccer capital of North America.
Wow.
We were the wrestling capital of the world. Today we're the chess capital of the world. But
wow.
People don't know there were 4 NFL teams. There were 4 Major League Baseball teams.
Holy cow.
Well, St. Louis Hawks played here once in the NBA, but they weren't the first NBA team,
wow.
nor were the Blues the first NHL team. And the women, the African-American experience, the diversity, all these firsts that take place in St. Louis. No city can compare to us.
Definitely, definitely. And I know you have a bunch of sports memorabilia throughout your man cave here, but, I imagine a lot of this is in the book, and some of the stuff that you've highlighted is in this book as well. What inspired you to write this?
Well, when we came out with Wrestling at the Chase, which I did during the pandemic, usually I write about baseball, it was like, when are you going to do bowling? We have such a rich bowling history. And what about, this or that? And it's
right.
like, there's really not enough to be in a book of all those topics individually, but collectively it became a book of wows, I call it. And the people I've talked to, as they read it, they go, wow. We had the first female owner of a Major League Baseball team.
Insane.
Yeah, we also had the first female owner of an NFL team bring her town to St. Louis, and it was not Georgia.
Wow.
We had...
It's probably going to shock a lot of people.
It is going to. Everybody immediately thinks, oh, I got that trivia question. We had the first female player in an MISL game, the first indoor soccer female player. And it just goes on and on. Arthur Ashe grew up in Richmond, Virginia, but he couldn't play against whites or indoors, so he came to St. Louis. And learned his game under Dr. Richard Hudlin and lived in Richmond Heights. So it's from Richmond to Richmond Heights.
Definitely.
We had the Golden Girls of tennis, some of the greatest tennis players in the 60s. And you go to their house and there's their medals, trophies, and it's like, wow, from Wimbledon, the Australian Open, the French Open. And it just goes on, and people don't remember all these things.
But that's why we have this book.
That's why this book came out. St. Louis kind of gets kicked in its teeth a little bit over some social issues. But what can we be proud of? What can we grow on? And remember, it's this history.
Definitely, definitely. Sports, like I said, is like food. It brings everyone together, all races, all walks of life, and that's why we love it so much. All the information that you guys are going to need is right there on the screen, and as always, show some support to our local artists and everyone here, publishers, all this good stuff. Mary, oh man, I don't know if you understand how crazy holding this bat is and how amazing this book is.
I can only imagine. You said it best. You are in sports heaven this morning, and Malik, I'm glad to see that you're sticking to this book club we're starting.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is adding on to that list.
We'll add it onto the list. All right, thanks Malik for sharing.